Time to give a bunch of these fish in the 220 gallon a much bigger new home, and for the guys who are staying behind, a much better new aquascape. And when I say bigger new home, I'm talking about the 1200 gallon Amazonian Islands Aquarium right here. And a special thank you to Salient Aquatics for sending in some stickers to add to the sticker wall. Anyone else who has your stickers, send them in. I'd love to put you up here. So today's the day. The Tetra are getting moved over to their new 1200 gallon Amazonian Islands tank. They're going into quite the mansion for a Tetra, but I'll tell you what, it looks amazing. The contrast with the massive schools of Tetra and the cichlids, it's off the hook. As well as we're going to completely rescape the Discus aquarium, and it's going to be pretty amazing. It's going to really make the Discus pop. So let's go. Okay, what progress are we making down in the fish basement? Well, we got the stand painted for the cube, all white, and wow, there's a big 6x6 cube aquarium getting built over here. But that's we're going to cover that in detail in another video. But you can see we're making good progress, and we'll check in on it on the vlogs. Okay, here's the plan for the 220 Discus aquarium. We're going to lower the water down because we're going to be taking most of the Tetra out of here. We're leaving the rummy nose, but we're taking most of the larger Tetra. We'll also leave the few glow lights that are left. We're going to take the Cory cats, the bigger Tetra, and we're going to leave behind the Discus and the Rams, and most of the plecos. We're going to take one of the plecos and move them over. To make this easier, I'm going to grab some nets. I'm going to block off the cave right here, and right here, and right there. So hopefully that blocks these little guys from going in there. And then we'll try to bring the water level down to about the top of those rocks, make it easier to catch everything. And then lastly, make it easier to rescape the aquarium. I got a really cool idea that actually, as always, it was predicated from a comment that someone put in a recent video. It had me thinking. I went and I looked at what I had in the shed as far as aquascape materials, came up with an idea. So, as always, I get a lot of good input from you guys, and I appreciate it. All right, does the 220 gallon Discus aquarium look a little different? Hopefully for the better. I'm liking it. We're kind of going back to basics here with a typical habitat for Discus. Would have a lot of the big, thick tree root coming down with the lower rock formation. And we are back to that. The small twig kind of roots and the tall grassy plants just wasn't doing it for me. I don't really feel like it ever fit the tank all that well. So we're going back with this, and I'll tell you what, just the initial, looking at it, I'm loving it. It's looking good. Obviously, we got a lot of filling up to do. You can see we moved over all the fish we wanted to move over to the 1200 gallon Amazonian Islands, and we'll show them in a little bit. But for right now, we'll go ahead and get this filled up, let these guys get situated. The poor Discus, they're in the back over there, and they're very unhappy because we've been messing in their home. But a little bit of stress for a long future of a beautiful tank to swim in, and of course we'll be getting these guys more friends. We'll be getting the right type of small Tetra I want to put in here. We'll do something with the overflow. But this tank's a little tough with the big overflow like that for the small Tetra, but I've got some methods to keep them from going in there. I can cut some Metalamat and put in there, and that'll let the water pass through but keep little fish out. And then of course we want to get more Discus for this aquarium, and I'm going to go back and get them from Hans Discus, which is where the ones I have are from. The other Discus I bought, I won't say who they came from, but I didn't like them as much, and they didn't do as well. And they didn't mix with these guys as well as the genetics weren't as good either, in my opinion. So going back to the well with Hans Discus, and we're going to group of those guys, and then we'll beef up the smaller Tetras. So 220 Discus aquarium, it's coming back. It's coming back strong. So just checking in on the Amazonian Islands 1200 gallon aquarium, looking through from the other room out into the annex, and definitely liking the more schools of smaller fish mixed in there. One thing I'm noticing is it's probably not going to be that long before I have some more stir-by Cory, because they've been showing breeding activity ever since I put them in there. They've been in there 24 hours now, and they've been pairing off down there, grouping up. So I'm definitely looking forward to the stir-by Cory school growing. So this group of stir-by was actually only 6 of them that I put in the 220, and they bred their way up to about 14. So hopefully in this 1,200 gallon, they'll be able to breed their way up to much larger numbers than that. They're pretty much everywhere. You can see them up here on the rocks, down in the substrate, you name it. So I am definitely happy with the look of the medium-sized Tetra mixed in with the big boys. I want to get more. It's starting to give the look I want, but I want to get some more of them. Maybe some that are actually gonna, they seem to be gravitating higher up into the aquarium, all the various Tetra species I have. So I'm looking for something that maybe medium size, you know, maybe a Tetra of some type that, or it could be another fish that's going to utilize all that ReScape, kind of something not like how maybe a goby would, or maybe a pistos. I don't know. I want to stick with the South American theme. Sorry, I just got distracted because we've got more Sir by Corey showing breeding activity over there. They're all over the tank doing that. It's wild. It's awesome. It's good to see them loving their new home. But at any rate, yeah, so more smaller fish to mix in with the big boys, and some that are gonna, you know, spend their time lower down in the aquarium, mid water, you know, around all that ReScape and wood we have. We got a lot of Cory cats and plecos for the bottom, and we got a lot of top water now. Then of course the big boys, the angels, the Sphenidiophagous and the Severum, you know, they're kind of really all over the place, but more mid and lower. But so far so good on the move over. These Tetra definitely got a much bigger home, and I think they're liking it. So we got the new look Discus Aquarium. See, these boys are pretty much already used to it. They seem to really love the tree root, wood root coming out. Gives them, you know, the ability to duck in there if they feel like they need to, but for the most part, they don't. They're out swimming around, except for the one blue Discus. Well, he's poking his head out back there. So anyway, you see we got all the Tetra moved over to the 1,200 gallon. What we did keep here is, of course, the Discus and the Rams and the Rummy Nose Tetra, the albino Cory cats, and the green phantom plecos. Now there's a couple Tetras that you can see over here that held over, wasn't able to catch them, but no big deal. We'll leave them in there. There's the Rams hanging back there. The main thing is, I took the advice of one of the comments from the last video, just sort of said, you know, go with the old school Discus look without the plants and just with the wood and I guess rocks, you know, but sort of a hardscape. And I'm liking it. The Discus are liking it. There's the big blue. He's out. Actually, what I'm noticing is it really pops. The Discus color really pops with the more muted background, and they really seem to dig the wood root because, like you said, they can sort of zip in between there anytime they feel like it. So this is working out really good. Moving forward here, there's a lot more Discus going to come to this aquarium. I'm going back to the well with Discus Hans. I'm probably going to get like one of his 10 packs of, you know, he chooses 10 good Discus, and they'll be small, 2.5 inch to keep the price affordable. And I'll get them situated, and then get them in here with these guys. I'll be beefing up the school of Rummy Nose Tetra significantly, and probably try to find some sort of a middle, like a smaller cichlid, maybe a pistogramma, something like that. Just a little something to mix in, possibly more Rams, but in my experience, too many Rams, even in a big tank, they tend to whittle themselves down, but we'll see. I've got the 4 right now. They sort of paired off, 2 blues and 2 electric blues. So one blue, one German blue and one electric blue, and then are together, and then the same thing with the other one. But they do hang out near each other, so I don't know. Maybe some more woodwork, but we'll see. At any rate, this is the Disc Aquarium as of now, and it's time to go ahead and build up this stock, and I really want to see it with a full 14, 15 Discus in here, what that's going to look like color-wise. I think it's going to pop. Oh yeah, and also the one that's in quarantine, he's doing great. Got him all healed up. I'll be transitioning him back over to this tank pretty soon. So I thought we'd get a close-up look at the tank. We'll start off with the upper part of the tank. We've got these awesome schools of Tetra now. It's getting close to the right amount. In fact, actually, for a top water, that looks pretty sweet. Like I was talking about, I really want to get something for this, some fish that are going to utilize this mid-level, just like the Severum and the Geophagus do, but just smaller fish to mix in with them. Then of course the angels, they pretty much go everywhere, but they're sort of top to middle. And then, like I was mentioning, I don't know where they are, they're all sort of spread out right now, but we've got a Cory cat army in here now, and I've been seeing the breeding activity with the stirbai, so hopefully it's a matter of time before we have baby stirbai. And I think there's plenty of places for the babies to grow up down there. And we did move over another pleco, the parapleco. Wow, and just like clockwork, he comes out of the rocks. That's perfect. I wish they always participated in the video that well. So at any rate, this is the parapleco. He's over here now, and right there on the rock. And there's also a cactus pleco over here, and a bunch of bushy nose and everything. So there's a whole mix of them. There's the electric blue Jack Dempsey, model citizen in this tank. It's amazing how different the personalities for electric blue Jack Dempseys are compared to a regular Jack Dempsey. I mean, night and day. Couldn't be more different. So at any rate, I'm going to call the success moving these Tetra over. They're definitely just the right size, and I just need to find another few species of Tetra to add. Maybe some of the longer bodied ones to give a contrast between these guys and all the cichlids. And then again, like I said, something that's going to want to swim mid-level would be ideal. Oh, I almost forgot, all those roots. They've come all the way down, and they are rooting in the substrate, but they are making an awesome backdrop back there along the back of the aquarium, about the last foot of the aquarium, getting all covered in roots and just creating a whole bunch of habitat back there. And I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised as we might see some sort of breeding activity up there with some of the smaller fish with those roots. I know a lot of Tetra are egg scatterers, but if there's any that would utilize those roots for eggs, that'd be a pretty nice spot to do it. Okay, always good when a change to the tank goes positive, and this is definitely an improvement for this aquarium, and everything headed in the right direction. It's crazy how once you make a change and it works out, it seems so obvious. You're like, why didn't I do that before? I should have moved these Tetra over to the 1200 gallon a long time ago. They look awesome in here. They fit perfectly. They're just the right size, and I love the contrast with the large schools of Tetra and the larger cichlids, community cichlids. And as far as the Discus aquarium, same situation. I'm loving the hardscape look, and I can already tell just with a few Discus in there how the colors of the Discus pop so much against that hardscape background, and how much they really love that thick wood root we have coming down. So before we had the thinner wood root and the plants and everything, we were kind of going down the right path, but something just wasn't right about it. This big thicker wood root is absolutely what that tank needed. So now it's time to build up a massive school of Discus in there and have all that color contrasting with that background, plus giving the Discus all the comfort of knowing they can just zip in between that wood. They got that back area if they ever, feel threatened or anything like that. Beef up that rummy nose school, couple choice little fish to go in there. I think the Discus aquarium is going to look awesome. And obviously stop competing with the filter. You got that super vegetable filter that just eats away nitrates and everything. I was constantly having to dose that tank and put in root tabs to feed the plants and everything. So now we're just going to keep all the plants in the vegetable filter. We're going to get all of our color from the fish in the display aquarium. So that tank will go back to being super easy to maintain and super beautiful. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon. We got part 2 of the 800 gallon cube build coming up real soon.